Welcome to the Roundblock Podcast, where we like to talk to people, not about them. And what goes around comes around. So today we have Brandon Lee. He's the owner of a restaurant in Napua, and he runs the premier. Is it called a piggery?
Yeah.
That's a
That's one of the names. Farm.
farm. Yeah. But it's an amazing farm.
Pig farm.
And how I found out about his farm was that when our my daughters and his kids were going to school together, we did a huaka'i over there. I was a chaperone, and I was just amazed by the fact that his piggery did not have any smell. It was very clean and just an amazing environment for something that you're going to eat to kind of live in and move around in. Okay, yeah. Well, Brandon, why don't you tell us about your farm and how you raise these pigs?
Yeah, I mean, Keone Rigador and I, Chef Keone and I wonder what I should always call him. We've owned Napua for 10 years now. It was, we actually won it in a contest. I ever told you this story?
I've heard, yeah. When we did the wine thing, you kind of mentioned it, but I didn't really get into it. But that's pretty amazing that you won a restaurant.
Yeah, so I won a restaurant in a contest, and we've had it for 10 years since then. That's the only way we would have got the opportunity to be in such a beautiful spot right there on the coast. So
So you guys won it. So how did you win it? Like
okay,
a raffle or
no
dice game?
808 Raffle House. They're doing some unreal things.
Win a restaurant.
Yeah, win a restaurant. Ooh, I don't know if you want to win that, man. Okay, I heard about it. So I used to be a bartender at Tommy Bahama's.
Okay.
When I first moved back from the mainland, I was selling Mercedes-Benz in LA for a while, and then I decided to move back. So I worked in the sales department at the Fairmount Orchid, and that was like a real 8 to 5 job. I think it was like 7 to 4. Just sit at a desk and make calls and set up amenities and that kind of stuff. It was really kind of just real flat. So I bartended at night right at Tommy Bahama's when I first moved back. So I was over there and I made friends with this guy. His name's Scott Lee. Shout out to that guy. He gave us the opportunity.
Are you guys related?
No.
Okay.
He's Haole, yeah, super white. Actually, my dad is too, so I don't even know why I said that. When I opened Bikini Grill, he used to come up and eat, but I made that relationship early on, you know what I mean? And he used to come in, he was a big fan. So when Napua or the Manalani Beach Club came available, when they were looking for a restaurateur to take it over, he told us about it. He said, hey, look, come tour this place. And
so was he the owner?
No, he was managing, at that time, that guy Scott was managing the Manalani Mall, shopping center.
Okay.
He was the GM of the shopping center.
Wow.
Yeah, so he told me about it. We went and toured it. He says, look, what you got to do is you say you want to do it, and you got to write a business plan and a pro forma. So,
now, do you have experience with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to college, undergrad and grad school at HPU. Actually won a marketing plan contest in college too.
Wow, amazing.
I wrote a marketing plan that's pretty much what I'm using today.
Yeah.
That I wrote when I was like 20.
Shit. If a formula works, stick with it.
It was called Malu Kiko. Oh my God, how lame. I can't remember. I even remember this. Jesus. It was called Malu Kiko. And you can ask Kuha'o, but it may or may not mean secret spot.
Oh, shit.
It may or may not. I didn't even know. I should look that up. Didn't even have Google those days. Somebody gave me something. I go, what does secret mean? Oh, Malu, maybe. You know, you're asking some random friend and you think he's just darker than you. So you ask him. So it was about like a secret spot that you only had to know, and then if you knew, then you were in, and this is the spot, and there's going to be a feeling, and this is kind of what it is today, and that was kind of the business plan. You know, the challenges or the obstacles that place had was it was tucked away, right? It was by itself. There wasn't a lot of foot traffic at the time. It was in this weird spot. The kitchen was tiny. You know what I mean? So the people that were running it, which was the hotel, were like, no, you know, it's too hard. It costs too much money to do it. So then the homeowners association, I don't even know if I should be telling this story, but the homeowners association, they came up with this plan, of how to pick somebody to do it.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I'm glad they pick locals too. So that's
well, see, that's what it is. They took a big risk. So we
Mhm.
went through this thing. We turned in a business plan. I have a friend, Max Bowman. He's a great writer,
Mhm.
and me and him really click.
Mhm.
He's also one of the biggest lettuce farmers on the island, um, uh, and he's the product. If our smartest students in class become farmers, that's what Max Bowman is. He was valedictorian.
Wow.
He was everything, and he decided to be a farmer. He could be anything, and he's choosing to create impact by being a farmer. Max Bowman. Anyway, he helped me write the business plan for that thing. And the idea was that we were going to just try and be as genuine as possible.
Mhm.
The one thing missing on the whole coast was like a real Hawaii Big Island. Like they're all trying to find it. It didn't quite feel like
Mhm.
that. So we knew we could perform that, and we had enough friends already in farming and agriculture and stuff that we could actually get really great product too already that was grown here on island. So that was another pitch that we had. But anyway, we got narrowed down to 3. Then we had to do dinner for 10. Then after that, they chose. And
So how was that? Was that stressful?
oh yeah, bro, that was stressful.
Mhm.
That was crazy. But I was too dumb at the time to know how stressful and how crazy it was. You know what I mean?
But
Like I was just
now
winging
it's
it.
an
I was
amazing
young.
story because of
Yeah.
what your restaurant became.
Right. And at the end, you always get this question. Do you have anything else to say to us? You know what I mean? Like at the very end, you answered all their questions, and they always say, like, hey, is there anything else?
Mhm.
Always take that opportunity. And always know that question's coming up so you know how to answer it. I always remember
I
that.
like
So
that.
just be aware that question's coming.
Mhm.
So when it's time, and they asked me that question, I said, look, this is a very rare opportunity for you guys to really have an impact on the community. You're going to hire Keone and I to be in here. That's going to be 2 local guys from Honoka'a High School that has all local community friends, that's going to knows all the local community farmers, all the different stuff, that you're going to have some really positive effect right in your community if you choose us.
Yeah.
This is what we bring to the table.
Mhm. Not only that, you're actually gonna pave the way for them to, think differently about locals, have better interactions with locals too. So
I mean, like, yeah, I'm so fortunate that the homeowners at the Maunalani Beach Club, they're so supportive. They're so amazing to us. They really help us out a lot. And right now I'm preaching a lot about the perfect guests to Hawaii. And the Maunalani really do have these guys that come out here. They support everything. They're looking to support local. They buy our meat boxes.
yeah.
When the pandemic was going on, they were there at the restaurant eating every day. I mean, some of them every single day they ate. You know what I mean? Just trying to do it, and slipping hundreds to the boys and
Yeah,
stuff. Like
that's-
just really killer, amazing humans down there. You know what I mean? So, we're really fortunate to what that is. But because of that, we also promised them that we would also do our part and make good community impact. And we told them one day, we're going to build a farm, and really, really start to have tremendous impact with the whole community and the whole
So
island.
you guys didn't even have the pig farm.
Wasn't
Even crossed
nothing.
Not an inkling.
Nothing yet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they gave us the opportunity, which is
So how did
that
the
changed
piggery come
everybody's
up?
life.
It did change everybody's life. Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it changed everybody's life.
Wait, before we move on, I just want to tell our viewers, see, he was a bartender, okay? He wasn't passionate about bartending, but that was his job, and he made good, he communicated well with his guests and clients and stuff, and look how it turned out. So
Yeah.
no matter what you're going to do, if you're, you can be a waiter or, man, if you're going to choose to do a job, man, do a great fucking job. You know what I mean?
I always have been I've always tried to be a good worker.
Yeah. Same here,
You
bro.
know what I mean? Work.
Yeah.
I like to work.
Yeah.
I enjoy work.
Yeah. I used to fight with my ex, because I worked at the design center. I worked in the lighting department in the design center. And then, I just, I I made myself become passionate about lighting. So I wanted to learn everything about lighting, everything about the companies that we sell and stuff. And you would, we'd be arguing about money and stuff before you. And she's like, well, it's different because you love your job. I was like, man, people treat me shitty every day, but I don't let it affect me because some people will treat me good. And I just want to be really good at what I do. Maybe it'll open up some more opportunities, just like yourself too. So I've always had that similar mindset where, man, if you're gonna do a job, man, just go in there and kill it, and might open up a door down the road too. So
It's not even a might. It will.
yeah,
It absolutely will.
I like that.
It will open an opportunity if you do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I try to, oh geez, speaking of opportunity, try your best. Thomas Keller came to the restaurant.
Okay, well, yeah, that's how everybody about.
Yeah, so we were talking about it.
So he's one of the most noted premier chefs in the world.
Honestly, Thomas Keller is, he is fuel to the whole food and beverage industry as far as motivation to be good.
So how did that
He
come
is
up?
the greatest.
How did he reach out to you guys?
He did it. So I heard he went to a couple restaurants. People talked about it. Then they wanted to eat at a restaurant. Wow. So, so he comes in. Yeah, I've never been so nervous in my whole life. It was crazy. Like I don't.
Even with Jennifer Hudson, you weren't that nervous?
Even with Jennifer Hudson, that girl can sing.
Yeah.
Oh,
but you did a private dinner party for her also.
Yeah. I do. We do all kinds.
Yeah,
all kinds. I mean, look down there. We have.
Who else did you do? Can we talk about that?
The great billion. I'm not going to say their names, but there's a lot of great billionaires down there that, what's so amazing about my job is as a maitre d' in the restaurant, I go around and I talk to all the tables. I get to meet so many different people from all over the world.
Very inspirational too.
Yeah, and they have so much to say. They have so much information, so much to give, especially at our restaurant. When they come, they're especially down there. There's a lot of like
dude. I ate there the other day. Strangers sitting next to me. We had great conversation, dude. Within 5 minutes, I was showing them pictures of my kids, and they were showing me pictures of their kids, and all this. Like, wow, dude, amazing clientele.
Well, it's like this built-up relationship that's we've been able to cultivate for 10 years. And this relationship I'm talking about is us at the restaurant with the community around us and the island. You know what I mean? That's like the goal is to make waves, positive waves within what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like we talked about it before in the impact, man. It's all about what we're doing for Hawaii in the end. You know what I mean? For Hawaii and then the people here and everything, it's all about positive. We live on an island, man. We all got to really work together, and there's so many things against us already that we shouldn't, one, compete with each other and be against each other that live on the same island.
Totally.
Like we talk about, there's like thieves and stuff now, like people stealing. There's so much stealing going on. I mean, there's murders and stuff like we hear about, you know what I mean? People shooting each other, and there's so much, there's homelessness, and there's so much of this stuff, but there's only 100,000 people here. Like, how come we can't help fix all that? What is it so difficult? Or is the system that we're using not suitable for Hawaii?
Yeah.
Is it not suitable for our culture? This Western way of managing people. Does that work for Hawaii?
In my opinion, I don't think it does.
Right. If their agriculture doesn't work here, if their ideas don't work here, what about, of course, their structure and how they manage the people is not going to work here. We're different people. This is I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. So like, an example of this is when we talk about how, like, that heiau down Kauai High, the really big one?
Okay, yeah.
Who is that for?
Was it the Luakini one?
I don't know, the really big one down Kauai High.
Yeah.
So find that out so I don't look too goddamn stupid. What the heiau down Kauai High is? Okay, so that heiau was built by the stones from Pololu Valley, right? Okay. And it was passed human chain, rock to rock, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Is it Pu'uko'ola? That's probably the worst enunciation Hawaiian way to say that, but I yeah, that's the one. Pu'uko'ola. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pu'uko'ola. Say it with some like.
Okay. Yeah, something with some
Hola.
Okay, so all those stones, right, came from Pololu, which is way down.
By Pio.
Bro, it's far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and they human chained it. Now, for whatever reason, when we think about how that was performed, when we use our imagination, if we close our eyes and we see them passing these stones from Pololu to Kauai High, we're like envisioning it's hot.
Yeah.
You're envisioning passing the stones. You're envisioning some ali'i type above them, like, whoosh, pass the stones. Whoosh. You know what I mean? This is what you got envisioned in your mind. Yeah. Why?
Because of Western movies.
Right.
I'm thinking Ben-Hur. I'm thinking like those old school Egypt movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Egypt, right. You're passing these stones like, ugh.
Yeah.
But why is that? The reason they're building those types of heiaus is sometimes to celebrate bountifulness. You know what I mean? These guys had the Ahupua'a system, a sustainable system, a system that honestly is the gift of agriculture to the world and how all agriculture should work, and which is regenerative. Everybody's talking about regenerative.
I like that, yeah.
Everybody's talking about microorganisms and Korean natural farming. All those things are in Hawaiian agriculture.
Yeah.
They used to foresee good years and bad seasons and everything. Nobody was winging it. It was dialed perfect. They spent 1,000 years working on agriculture by themselves on an island. No amendments, just using the things around them.
No writing either.
Right.
Just pass through conversation.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's right. So even like that, okay? When you say we're gonna build this heiau because of things going so well, or say it's like some of them are built for intimidation or for war or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still something they want to build. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna make that human chain, but it's not gonna be negative. They're gonna be positive about it. And you did it with us. We did a little human chain for the magnets in the back of the barrel, right?
Yeah.
Is it fun? It's more fun than you think. You're talking stories with your friend.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So
I imagine it to be the same thing.
Right. So we do 3,000 pounds of loose magnets and put them into 7 steel 55-gallon drum barrels via bucket. And when me and Rogelio do it, it's fucking like a machine. And we buzz right through it. It doesn't take 20 minutes to do. You know what I mean? With 3 guys. It's amazing. So, and then when somebody new comes in, it's so fun to watch, to see how they pick it up. You know what I mean? Like it's a system. It's a machine, right? It's a human conveyor belt.
But how did I do? 1 to 10.
You did great, bro. You did great. This is how it is. And even when you got to walk the bags, you move out of the way. You do that. There's a system. And the job is simple. You're not using your mind. You can talk. Once you get the rhythm, you're like in a rhythm.
Yeah.
So I would imagine a long line. And you're not just passing rocks. You're passing stories to each other. You're passing information. We need small stones, all the way across. Yeah. And it's not like, what? At lunchtime, they all stop. They get in the shade. You got to remember, this is old before cattle, right? So this is before that forest is gone. There's a forest that runs from there to there, a dryland forest with koa trees and iliahi, and the whole system is still there, you know what I mean, of a dryland forest on the Kauai High side. This is before cattle, right? So you're in the shade, you find a shade, you're going to eat, you guys are going to enjoy each other, boom, come back, let's keep building this. This is something you guys work together, say, hey, in the next makahiki, we're going to build this thing, get ready, get the stones ready. And you get guys on the very beginning that are just collecting the stones. Okay, we need bigger stones, So they get in the big stones, and then it goes on the conveyor belt, the human conveyor belt, down to where they're going to build the heiau. Then there's the guys in there. So say you're getting tired, you don't want to pass stones. Well, then just jump out. There's somebody on the outside that'll jump in your space. We won't even skip a step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be. And then those guys on the side are talking stories like, oh, you tired? Oh, come. You look tired. Jump out. I'll jump in. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be slavery. It doesn't have to be crazy.
And force.
And then like, oh, it's so crazy. You guys just built this giant stone thing. Yeah, this is the minerals that we have. This is the stones that we have. This is what we have to build things that will last a long time. You guys do bronze statues. You guys do your faces on the sides of mountains, for Christ's sake. And you guys are looking at our stuff in awe. When I go to North Dakota, and I see the national monument with these 4 presidents that painted their faces on the side of a fucking mountain in a place that was owned by different Native Americans. You know what I mean? That's what these guys do. And then they look at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and they're looking over at us like we don't got it together. No, it was harmonious, bro.
That's a very interesting way to look at that too.
No, but that's the influence of the mainland and their ideas on our history.
Mhm.
Okay? If there's nothing written down of that time,
Mhm.
that means let's make it up then.
Yeah.
Let's make it very nice. If we get to choose what history we want to create, let's create it to be very nice. We are from a people that work together.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
And they created a history that was very on their side that completely, backed up their narrative on how they want us to live because there's something in it for them. Safe to say, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they wanted Hawaii.
Yeah.
They wanted fucking Hawaii. Hawaii's the greatest place on the planet. When they landed here, they were like, holy shit, this place is amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine the first missionaries that came over here, or when Captain Cook, some of those guys didn't leave, right? They stayed.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I ain't getting back on this boat.
Yeah.
Everybody's skin is nice and soft and smooth. We smell like shit. You know what I mean? These guys smell like flowers. We're staying here. And we were probably very nice to them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if we're going to accept them like that, and we were nice to them, okay? So sometimes, like, for example, we think about when the first people that were here and the next group of Hawaiians that came were the Tahitians, right? The Marquesas people came in the 750 AD.
Oh, you're going deep now.
Oh, okay. Why, do you know this kind of like timeline history a little bit?
Pa'o and yeah, a little bit.
Okay. I just did it on another podcast, but I could do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
share with
let's
us.
do it. Let's do it. Okay. Well, I mean, look. And Kuha'o is the one, and he's actually, we're all kind of thinking about the same things. You know, it's about how the most beautiful place on the planet has changed so much in such a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
The first people to Hawaii. So before humans on Hawaii, the only things here are non-fruiting trees. I don't think there was like trees that produce fruits yet. Mm-hmm. Birds, bat or bats,
mm-hmm.
and the monk seal. That's it. Nothing else. Well, I mean, like, I don't know about insects and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm saying like mammals wise and birds wise.
Mm-hmm.
So the first Hawaiians that come over, maybe 750 AD. Mm-hmm. So 750 AD, they don't know how many people, though, maybe like 85, maybe 100 people or something like this. And all they know is that first people, when they first came, they accidentally got here. They somehow stumbled across. I mean, I know they thought like they were checking the stars or whatever and they were able to find it. But no, you have to, if you're checking stars, that means there was an idea of there was something there already. You were going towards something. But this first time, nobody was there yet. So nobody even knows. So what happened, my guess is, this is straight
theoretical.
Bro, this is straight bro science. Okay, this is my own. Like I said, if we don't got writings about it, let's make it really fun.
Yeah.
Let's make it really fun. Okay, so you get on an island. Now think about what that was like. You just spent however many weeks or months on the ocean getting torn apart. You think you're lost. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you see a smoke line. And you're like, what the? Smoke. Okay, let's follow the smoke. That's a volcano. You know what I mean?
I totally picture the Herb Kane
yeah. Right. So then you go to the land. You get there. Shoot, you're the first. Mm-hmm. You're going to get on there. Probably you're thirsty. You know what I mean? You're going to try and find something, water. Maybe you have water. Maybe you have things and you just walk on the beach. And it's just this crazy jungle. You know what I mean? Depending on what side of the island they come on. You know what I mean? I don't even know what island they first landed. I think it's like everybody wants to be the first, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like real.
So since this podcast is being hosted on Moko Keawe, we're going to just say Big Island. What's Big Island?
Yeah, Big Island. I always say it. It's from Big Island. So they get here. One thing for sure they know is that they didn't know how to get back because they didn't go back. Nobody went back, really.
Why would you want to though?
well,
Right?
okay. So you get here and there's 85 people. In 500 years, the next group, 1250 AD maybe, and that's the Tahitians. Okay, so look, when you're 85 people on an island, on a group of islands by yourself for a long time, and the only limited resource really is humans, the population when the Tahitians came was maybe 400, 500, 600, something like that. They always say, oh, the Tahitians came and there was war and all of da 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 da. And this is the beginning of the influence, right in the beginning of our culture, the beginning of Hawaii people, which is the blending of the people that first came and the blending of the second people. This is the original Hawaiians now, right? When I created my pigs, I got the mainland pig and then I did it and I bred them over here. This is the first Big Island Berkshire pigs. You know what I mean? That's how that's just my mentality, right? So when the Tahitians came and the Marquesas people, the original people came and they started to create this new people, this new blend of people on a new land. That was the first Hawaiians, right? So these are the very fucking beginnings of people. Why does it have to be an argument right out of the gate? Like, why do they come and they're gonna fight? No way. We'd be like, oh my gosh, where are you from? You know what I mean? Like, we've been waiting for people for so long. You know what I mean? And there's people that left, right? There's people that tried to get back. And maybe they went back and they ended up on another island. You know what I mean? And then the story of this girl that came from the Lost Islands who was grandfather. That's why we say our genealogies. You know what I mean? That's why everybody's into their genealogy. My grandfather is so-and-so. My great-grandfather is so-and-so. Da-da-da. Because in that story, it tells you where you're from. So the story of a girl like Moana, you know what I mean? Not far off, that went off and then ended up on another island. That story, she's going to get there. She's going to tell her story. That story is going to get spread all the way back to the island they came from. And the idea is that they're going to say, hey, look, somebody just came on the island, so-and-so on Easter Island, and it's supposed to be that guy that left. That's his grandfather. That means there's land up there.
Yeah.
And then they try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe they fail, and they fail, and they fail, and then they finally do it. They're connected in a sort of way. You know what I mean? They're looking for each other. You know what I mean? They're looking for the message back from where this person left. They don't know that she got lost. Maybe they think that she got back to the island and that's them coming back. They don't know. These happened not overnight. You don't fly. You don't. This is a generation later of saying, you know what I mean? That's how long messages take. We don't even tie letters around doves' ankles yet. You know what I mean? This is literally mouth to foot, and they don't even know how to get there, right? So you're talking about the most isolated island, the blip of the Pacific Ocean, right? So it takes time. So they're not going to argue. I think it's harmonious right out of the gate. Like a high tone and a low tone. They just came together. Perfect. Why don't we say that versus they warred, and then the Mu people had to hide in the caves and the mountains and the da-da-da-da-da, and they never... Or
Manahunis and
I mean, like I like all those stories, but they all kind of ring in this certain kind of Western way. You know what I mean?
It's
if Aloha Spirit is our root, if that's the beginning, that means that's how that had to have started. The first relationships had to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, and when you picture yourself being stranded on an island or whatnot, and you see people, it's like you're totally right. It's like, hey, where are you guys from?
Yes.
I'm from so-and-so. And, and you guys just chop it up and learn from each other. And now, how do we, hey, can you help us do this? We've been doing this. And the newcomers aren't going to be like, I need to conquer you. You're going to be my fucking slave.
Right.
Hey, you guys have a system. What's going on over here? And right here, help us do this. We've been doing this and this has been working for us. So why can't it just still be like that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, look how we handled even when the missionaries and all these new ideas of pineapple and sugar and all this stuff, we let them have a try. That means we opened arms. We were nice about it. Even the way the queen handled the overthrow, she believed in the other people's system that they would hold it truthful. When you live on an island, you can't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You're going to get tossed off the island. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole kapu system. Right? Kapu is just a sustainable system. In the Ahupua'a system is just another sustainable system. The Kapu system is if you eat the coconut from that tree, you're out. Because you got to know that there's no money. Right? There's no money yet.
There's no money, there's no greed.
Okay, so how you think the first chief becomes, the first leader, right? If you got the 85 people, the one that starts to grow and they start to get so good at something. You know what I mean? They start to really kind of understand, okay, I can grow this sweet potato there. And then other people are watching, like, how'd you get that to do it? So then he goes and helps and he goes and helps and he's helping, he's helping, he's helping. And then eventually he's helping everybody. Everybody's recognizing it and like, hey, look,
He becomes a leader. That's how he
to
became.
to a point where we'll farm for you so that your family
Mhm.
has its goods
Mhm.
and you go help everybody.
Yeah.
We'll pay you.
That totally makes sense too.
Right?
Yep.
So they do it that way, right? In the beginning. And then so that means when you're the royals, they're holding the system together with the kapu system. You cannot eat that from that or that from that. No red fish, red fish is for us, whatever this. And we may not even understand it. There might be a reason why the red fish is eaten by the royals because of sustainability reasons.
Mhm.
You're talking 1,000 years of working on an island, mountain, ocean, everything, right?
Mhm.
1,000 years. I've been doing farming for 5 years, 6 years, and I've learned so much.
Mhm.
And people are saying that it's progressive and innovative. Really, I'm just stealing ideas from all over. But the that's only 5 years. Imagine 1,000 years of working on it.
Mhm.
And 1,000 years with the root people being sustainable people. No, this is another thing. So mainland, or actually any place else in the whole world, the humans that they are derive from a human that is nomadic. A human that follows herds,
Mhm.
the human that chases down animals and kills them and then eats them and they follow, you envision them chasing and follow the herds through the forest and all that. That's pretty much where most humans come from, except Hawaii people. We're derived from systems
Mhm.
because it has to work. It has to work. It all has to work together. We're on an island.
Mhm.
You're not going to get no herds cross across here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing's moving. You have to create your own food. You can't just eat everything here, then move to the next spot. That's what nomads do.
Mhm.
They eat everything and then move. They consume and move. That's
There
that type
has to
of
be a
people,
system.
which is an argumentative people.
Yeah.
This is mine. Oh, and the herds cross into each other. That's my herd. No, I've been following that herd since that far away.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. That's the people that they come from, of competitive people.
Yeah.
But we derive from a sustainable system people,
Mhm.
of people that have to work together, that are stuck on an island together, that see each other all the time. You're talking about completely separate genetic humans.
Mhm.
If a wolf and a golden retriever are the same animal, that's how it is. Not saying we're golden retrievers.
Yeah.
It's just a nice dog.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're completely different humans. We come from completely different ways of life, like how
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do things, how we think about things, our perspective on things.
Mhm.
And this pounding, and then like we learning the US history, and they say that's our history, that's modern history. And you know what I mean? We have all those roots. And then when we think about our native history, we put those in there just by accident. That's not what we want to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We come from a different way of doing things.
Yeah. Definitely.
Shit, I just fucking kind of went crazy there. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's
But
good.
you know, like that's
I mean, if we're gonna revive something, I mean, reviving that thought process and even that outlook, it's not a bad thing to feed. You know what I mean? Just like your farming, it works very well. And I don't that you've created a farming system that I think the whole world can kind of benefit by actually you teaching them.
well, I mean, it's the same. It's the same as all. It's a same root as everybody else.
Mhm.
Not ruining the area that you're farming. Not having positive impact. That means your idea not only has to kind of compete with the other ideas, but it also is good for the soil. It's good for the water. It's good for the people around. It's good for the Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then you got a real good idea.
Okay.
I mean, when you can start to check off all these different things.
But tell us about your the diet of the pigs, because that I feel like I could taste it, and that's the thing I was like really, really impressed by.
Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so you get your first Chiefs. That's what we were talking about, and I
Mhm.
kind of lost it back there. We could talk about what my pigs eat later.
Okay, sure.
They eat Mac nuts, bro. And the fat tastes like goddamn coconut oil. It's legitimately the best thing that you're gonna eat. Like I eat a lot of pork, just because I'm Filipino. But you know what I mean? Like you eat roast pork. Sometimes you get that roast pork where you get that weird taste, like in the back of your mouth in that Chinese food spot, you know. And it's just because they're using confinement pork.
Yeah.
So what you're tasting, that weird flavor, is actually stress and all that kind of what they eat. So mine are no stress and they eat Mac nuts. So they got a weird, kind of very coconut oil flavor to them, like a macadamia nut flavor to them.
Yeah.
So I mean, 40% of what they eat is Mac nuts. Feed papayas, bananas, all that kind of stuff. Make sure they got sugar and then the pasture itself. So that ends up, and then because they walk around, it marbles the meat and stuff inside. So you get the fat that's actually in the muscle, which is key. But yeah, the pork is phenomenal, and it's because of what I feed them.
Yeah,
But back to the king. So you end up with a leader and your first king, right? And because there's no money, they're gonna get the fish. You know what I mean? And then what happens is as the populations grow, you eventually gonna get an asshole being the king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for example, if in your small group, you know what I mean, like you're gonna be super nice to each other. Say there's 20 people. You're gonna be pretty close, pretty tight, like a tight family. You know what I mean? You're gonna be very respectful of each other. 100 people, there's some people you're not gonna like in that 100 people.
Yeah.
Okay? 1,000 people. Not only you don't like that people, you might be an asshole to somebody. You're not, you know what I mean? You might not like the person, but you're not going to say anything. But at 1,000 people, people start talking shit,
Yeah.
right? 100,000 people, people might kill each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just depends on how close and what the population. So as they grew, you end up with different types of people that are running the show, and it's going to take success and failure in different parts of the whole culture, right? You're going to get an asshole, but maybe they progress in something else because he's so strict. You know what I mean? Maybe
There's benefits from
there's
it.
benefits from the strict. I mean, look, we've all had strict bosses and loose bosses. You get a boss that's kind of mellow. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It does, but maybe we don't get as much done. You get a boss that's a real strict asshole. Like I hate my job and everything, but man, shit gets done. You know what I mean? So we've all had that. So that's the same thing with the type of managers, which are AKA the types of chiefs. But these chiefs are also in charge of the food that comes out of their area, making sure everybody's getting fed. I mean, you had the responsibility of managing the farm, managing the ahu. Excuse me. So as they manage, and now you're talking mountain to ocean. So these people, these chiefs, were given the best fish. Thanks. I appreciate all the work that you do for this. There's no money.
Yeah.
Right? There's no money yet. So you getting the kumu. I like that. I want to eat uku tonight. They're gonna get you to uku tonight. You know what I mean? You're the leader. You're the one helping everybody. And then as it grows, you get somebody that likes that position, likes to be the boss, is bossy. You know what I mean? So I mean that's how you end up. That's how you end up with all these different pathways. And then not until the populations get really big and real big decisions have to be made as far as being sustainable. If you're not gonna live by the rules, you're dead. We're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
You're out.
I had something that stuck with me till this day was shout out to Uncle Mel. He ran our Halipapamua in federal prison. And when he was trying to explain it to us, imagine, and when the missionaries were here, they just came to Hawaii. They were trying to explain their concepts, and they're trying to switch everybody over to Christianity and whatnot. And Hawaiians had no concept of heaven or hell. So when they would ask us super simple, and I think about this to this day, super simple question: what's heaven? What's heaven to you guys? What's hell to you guys? And the Hawaiians had the simplest answer: heaven, full stomach; hell, empty stomach. Because that's all that mattered.
Wow.
There wasn't money. You don't own the land. You're a caretaker. And I was just like, that's
wow.
solves a lot of fucking problems if you think like that.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's crazy. I never heard that.
Mhm.
And that would be based, like, I mean, agriculture based system.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Agriculture based.
But it's true to this day. You know what I mean? When it really comes down to anything, you know, if you drive a Mercedes Benz, it dies. But if there's no more Mercedes Benzes,
No,
you
yeah.
know, it really comes down to the basic necessity of life is food consumption. So that's what makes you happy. So you have a full stomach or an empty stomach. So heaven or hell. Very translatable, and I think everybody can kind of understand that on the most basic level of life.
So if we can all agree, here's one thing that we can talk about right now. If we can all agree that Hawaii's agriculture systems are the greatest around, especially if we're from Hawaii, we can proudly say, I love things that are grown in Hawaii. The vegetables are going to be better. Everything's going to be better. Why are we so hopped up on Starbucks? Why do
I
we
just bought
love
Starbucks this morning.
Starbucks? Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know everybody does.
Um,
I do sometimes too. You know what I mean?
mm,
Why do we love, because I get it all the time. It's so expensive. Your pork is so expensive, but Starbucks is really expensive.
yeah, yeah. No, you're
And
right.
and the greatest coffee, arguably, the greatest coffee on the whole planet is from Big Island.
Kona. Yeah,
Not
I
even
do Kona.
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 Casey
Ka'u.
Halpern. Casey Halpern grows one right up in Wainaku, bro.
Mm.
It's unbelievable. We medium dark roast this thing. It's
Oily
custom, bro.
beans.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's the whole island can grow tremendous coffee.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we go to Starbucks. Okay, so it all it comes down to is great marketing
Mm.
and the right combination of words and colors and images in order to motivate a people to really support something.
For me, it's convenience, though, Brad. I'm gonna have to say it's convenience, but like,
What do you mean that line is forever every single
but
time?
I'm in the comfort of my car listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
So it's very it's once I get here, I'm working,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and and like, okay, so if the argument was, well, why don't you go to 7-Eleven? 7-Eleven, I gotta get out of my car, I gotta put this mask on,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I get a coffee that I don't feel is as strong
Mm-hmm.
because I know, like,
It's not.
I
It's
gotta
not.
power through my day, and coffee kind of helps fuel that. Um, or I go to just cruising, but so I have this, very once I get like a system, like I like to eat oatmeal,
Yeah.
so I like coffee and oatmeal. So I go to just cruising when Starbucks runs out, or I just kind of I'm just switching my caffeine intake around. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to support local too.
But get drip coffee, Kona coffee from Starbucks.
Well, I go nitro, yeah. So I need the
No,
cocaine of
look,
coffee.
look, myself, look, I have all the greatest local beefs in my freezer right now. I got the greatest pork. I got the venison. I do it because I curate all these boxes, right?
Yeah.
I still run through Taco Bell. I got 4 kids, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
well,
I have to. I have to do, it's very convenient.
It is.
And
right?
what it is something in that routine, if everybody, not even every, if 10% of the people that are listening even right now started to add something local in their routine, it makes so much difference. It makes so much difference.
Yeah, it would.
Because Hawaii agriculture doesn't just grow food. If we're holding on to the language so much, we need to hold on to the root base of our culture, which is agriculture,
Mhm.
just as much. We need to grab it just as hard as we do the language, the physical, and then the mindset of the language. The physical is our agriculture, so we need to hold on to both. With like,
Okay, no, it's funny that you said that because I've said this before too. I've said this in the argument that the legal system here is broken. The people in power don't care about the people. If not, say take for instance our penalty programs. Our penalty program. You get a speeding ticket, you owe what, $200. Okay, so now I got to pay you $200. Why don't we have a system set up that we have lois or these farming hubs that at a fair wage you did community service now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're getting paid a fair wage. We're giving back to the community, and we're sustainably taking care of ourselves out here in Hawaii. Because it's not about us taking care of each other. It's not about us being sustainable. It's about us creating and giving money to this system that it's been broken and does not give a fuck about the people.
So that system's broken. The current agriculture system is broken. And it seems like those two things could help each other out. But there's so many political things and weird things. Look, the land is supposed to be being used. There was this article that just came out on the Civil Beat. That's why I grabbed my phone. You ever read the Civil Beat articles?
I used to in jail.
That's a good place. And it keeps you right in tune. You know, the writers for these things are real good. But they bring up the ADC. Do you know what the ADC is?
I know only CCA. If we're going for alphabets, Correction Corps of America. Hate them.
This is the Agribusiness Development Corp, right? And this is it's supposed to transform Hawaii's agriculture industry from when we were in the plantation of sugar and all that stuff into the new, what was supposed to be happening. And this has been going on for a while, and they dump a ton of money into it. And now they're finding out. I mean, the words that are using is fiasco. If the land banking was the mission, they're doing a moderately successful job. The little bit is doing is extremely expensive. Like they just tear into this whole group of that's supposed to be reviving and is funded to revive Hawaii's agriculture.
Okay. I mean, that's I just did a piece on that like last week about about the orchid farms and how we had these nurseries throughout Big Island, and and how big of an impact coffee made, because I want us to be able to grow cannabis here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying cannabis is the answer to all our problems, because it's not, but the fact that if we could grow that here and establish a base and a market for it, just as Kona Coffee did, where people, it's a sought after thing. It gives us a place in the market where we don't have one right now. And until we get outsourced, because you're gonna have Thailand. Thailand, same thing. It's the reason why we got outsourced.
No, but look, to me, Hawaii is such a valuable place that how do we keep getting outsourced? Because we keep throwing our goods in with everybody else's goods. We need to create our own niche. Everything that comes from Hawaii is more valuable than anything that comes from anywhere else. If we market the weed correctly, it's going to be better. People are going to want weed from Hawaii in New York. You know what I mean? Anywhere they go, they're going to want the pork that I grow on the hills of the Hamakua coast that drinks the spring water, and I feed them mac nuts because it is better.
Yeah. You're totally right.
It is better. There is a quality difference. You know what I mean? So you can't, that's one of the things. It's so easy. It says that there's no money in agriculture. No.
There's no money in the competition of exactly what you said, bundling us up with other people's products when it's not the same. You're right.
Look, Hawaii's beef. It's not choice. It's not prime. It's not select. It's from fucking Hawaii. It's from Big Island. Yeah. It's grown on the grassy. It eats it. It drinks water. It rains on it. It's from Hawaii. They watch rainbows all day and whales breaching. They try to tell me the happy cow makes the best butter in California. Are you joking? Have you been to California? Cows aren't that stoked.
No,
have you seen the cows in Waimea?
Pretty fucking stoked.
Chopsticks in the cheeks, bro. These guys are smiling all day long.
Yeah.
But look, this is the type of thing. Look, here's what Governor Ige has to do. Governor Ige has discussed doubling food production by 2030, right? That was one of his platforms. We're going to double food production by 2030. What does that even really mean? Said that it's likely not the amount given in the industry. The idea that Hawaii can grow enough food to feed itself is unrealistic, he said. In part because some people inevitably will want food that can't be produced here. So he's saying it's not going to work because people want to eat stuff from other places, can't be produced here. And some things might be able to be made more cheaply someplace else. He said, and an important factor in the high cost of Hawaii. Why is it high cost? Why are we going down this road? Because now we're bringing everything in. Do you know that 2x4s just this week went up like $5 a board? Everything's going to get really expensive because they got to fill those ships. How about we shrink the big ship? Let's get a smaller ship. Let's start filling smaller ships and let's start giving more incentive and growing more stuff here.
Yeah.
Let's start
I
to
agree.
produce here. You know what I mean? This is what we got to do. We live in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So it's just, there's so much going on. And they're all like, oh, there's no value. Meanwhile, there's a billionaire from Idaho that's buying up all the slaughterhouses.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of Melaleuca now owns 70% of all the meat processing facilities in Hawaii. Trying to tell me there's no money. Billionaires make dumb ideas all the time. They make horrible financial ideas all the time. Meanwhile, they're $1 billion.
Yeah. They got a billion problems. Yeah, I'd hate to be that guy.
Come on, this is real. This is what they do. And meanwhile, they're telling us there's no money in agriculture and a billionaire is buying everything. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but do we really? But do we really believe Ige?
Is that real? See, you see, I ain't talking shit.
Yeah.
So, like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know what I mean?
Let's get good officials in. Let's get good Kanaka in office that really have our best interests, the community's best interests. Not someone who's gonna just. We're putting in these people in. If there's 10 in there, we're putting them in one at a time instead of hooling the whole system. And we need 9 in there. If we put 9 in there, that one person, the one Ige,
yeah,
he can't make any decisions.
Oh, by himself.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, that's the goal. Everybody's like, "Oh, you should run for mayor." Sometimes I can't do. I'm not good. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about what I do. But this podcasting thing is kind of fun too. You'd have a great fucking podcast too. So you should probably pull the trigger too.
No, I'm good. I got enough stuff going.
I thought I did too, but this COVID thing just kind of like I couldn't now I can't afford to hire videographers, so I had to learn how to be what I used to hire.
That's it. It's good.
And
that's good though.
Now it's giving me a different outlook, and I don't know. I like it, man. But I'll always force myself to like what I have to like.
Look, I this whole COVID thing. This is the twist I love about COVID.
Well, I mean, you're probably like me. You just made the best of it. You don't love COVID. I'm not a COVID lover. But
I think like
it forced us to
look. Okay, it's very sad. Everybody, with what's going on, and everybody, there's definitely some things. But I read a great book called The Beautiful Constraint, and what it does is it takes things that are very difficult and puts a twist on it, right? You're finding the positive, right? The beautiful constraint, things that hold you back, but really you can find it. So if we can all agree that struggle is good for you, if you can agree that being in a struggled sense and having to work through things is a positive thing at the end of it, then we just struggled as Hawaii. We all just struggled to kind of get going and get through this part. So we were pivoting and moving and like Hawaii people were supporting and there were so many wonderful things that was happening during that time that I think, and it happened long enough that we've all realized how important it is. Like look, when we had to close our restaurant, this was I think by April, maybe March 17th.
Mm-hmm.
We had to close for a couple of weeks. We started getting calls like, we're not following the rule set that was coming out. They were just coming out with the rules. And I was like, I wasn't even watching the news already. I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? And then I was super into it. Then I started watching the news and I was watching everything. And I realized, look, nobody knows what's going on. I got to stay open. Everybody's working. This is before like PPPs and all this kind of chaos started coming. And, so we just kind of kept going. And then the PPP loan thing came. So we're like, okay, we got to pivot. And then they closed us. They wrapped caution tape around the building. First, they took all the tables away, and then they took all the chairs away, and then they wrapped the thing around. And they're like, you guys got to close. We're trying to do takeout, but then people would take out and sit on the grass. They didn't want that to happen. And, in the beginning, everybody thought we were going to die, So we were doing everything we can, but at the same time, like I was skeptic the whole time, just watching and just being like, oh, I don't know, And
I was the same way.
Yeah, and that's in our culture too. You know what I mean? Like the overthrow of the whole palace. We listened too much, and they threw over and they took over everything. So, you know, in the end, look, we're still a year out. It's not the same, and it's going to take a long time to get back to normal. You know what I mean? We're fortunate. We have a really strong, loyal group of people that come and eat at the restaurant. They understand that we support all the farmers, and we do that, and that your money goes really far when you spend it at our restaurant. But
They're also the demographic that can afford to stay home for 3, 4 months and not blink an eye to.
well, no, well, I tell you, that's not the truth.
Oh
These
yeah.
guys that are down there, you got to remember if they're in the certain industries that are being affected, they're losing quadruple amounts of money. Like move
Okay,
decimal
yeah, yeah,
points
okay.
around. They lose
They have they
millions.
have bigger overhead. Okay, I
They
get it.
lose millions. And there's a couple of them, that are, we're friends with, and we watch them going, and they're telling me like, hey, look, save every coin, be very tight. And it was great to have those guys there because they were telling me like, hey, there's this PPP loan coming up. There's this stuff coming up. Be ready. And I got to meet with all of them about that stuff. So what I did is I just brought everybody to the farm, all the servers, everybody. We all went to the farm and
Yeah,
we
yeah. Oh,
worked.
I like and I appreciate the fact that you did that too. So when they shut down, so what Brandon was saying is when the restaurant shut down because they were forced to shut down, um, he tried to keep everybody employed and give them a paycheck. So he brought them to the farm to kind of help out. But in a way, you're learning where your food comes from too. So the food that you're serving, you understand the hard work that goes. It's the behind the scenes thing, and you're kind of learning that too, which make a lot. It made a lot of sense to me too. So that was kind of
Well,
cool.
look, if you're working on the team, if you're on our team,
Hmm.
you are a part of Hawaii agriculture. You're an ambassador of Hawaii agriculture,
Hmm.
and I tell them all this all the time. You guys are helping with more sustainable Hawaii. You guys are helping um, create industry in Hawaii that is good for Hawaii. You know what I mean? You're a part of all of it. If you're serving, look, it takes a whole team from Kaikena guys at the farm, Uncle Bruce, Bello, Kaikena Scanlon, Rogelio, David now. They're all at the farm. We've got to feed and clean fresh water every day.
Yeah.
Rotate them like it's pouring rain right now. These boys are out there slamming it right now. I'm sitting on a podcast in a white sweater like a douchebag, but they're working hard, and then from there on Wednesdays, I go and I help take the pigs to the slaughterhouse. Kaikena comes with me. So every other Wednesday we take 3 pigs. Those 3 pigs get changed into all the different types of things. They then go to Kioni, chef. He's breaking down whole animals with Filipino boning knives. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so dope. Into primal cuts and then taking bellies to make bacon and then taking loins that we take out and brine to serve at the restaurant. So
Hmm.
then it goes to the restaurant or into the boxes. After it goes into the restaurant and the boxes, there's Angie King. She's putting all the boxes together, helping me do it. Then she's also a server. You know what I mean? So she goes and she serves,
Yeah.
and then there's Coral over there, and they're talking about how great the farm is because they worked at the farm.
Yeah.
They're talking with passion about Hawaii agriculture because I've talked to
Mhm.
them just like this,
And they
you know,
saw it firsthand too. So
and they're a part
yeah,
of it. They're a
yeah,
part of
yeah.
it. Then you get in the back, you get Kazu, Diego, Matsu, Kiahi. These are all local guys from Honoka'a, Mike,
Yeah.
Ka'anoi, which is Kioni's cousin, like
Mhm.
legend kid, and Ula and Joey and Jeremy and Nikki and Leilani who makes our lays and Nikki's daughter works with us now. Naya, these are all friends that I've worked with for so long. And then there's
Mhm.
some like people that have come in, like Estelle. She's from Oregon, but she moved out here by herself. And when I talked to her, she was an exceptional human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're on the team. And there's Leigh Martin who comes from, Honoka'a too. There's just as a team, we're so good. Because then I pass it to them. Keone guys cook it and they prepare it and they get it together
Yeah.
and then it's passed to um, the servers. Now it's the servers' time. Now it looks beautiful on a plate that's made here in Hawaii. We
Yeah.
get somebody to make our own plates for us. We don't
Yeah.
buy plates. We get somebody to make plates, and they're from Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at least some of them. You know what I mean? So try and have little impact where we
Mhm.
can. So you and then it gets to the table,
Mhm.
and it's the server's job. And Popper J. Oh, and Kalani. Kalani is the man. And he's like a wizard, just making sure everything looks like it's supposed to be there. And Kaulana Lorenzo, the fucking wizard with the drinks back there. You know what I mean? He's just when it gets to the table, that whole story that we just told of what it took to get here,
Mhm.
they have to know all of that story,
Mhm.
what it's going to taste like. If it looks correctly, they're the last hand as I give it to the guest.
Mhm.
And then the guests go, wow, that's amazing. That's all I was, all that just for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just for that. And I served that dish for $42.
Mhm.
It's a 5-ounce piece of loin,
Yeah.
vegetables from Hawaii on a Hawaii plate, ulu that's grown on the farm. This is all on that.
I just cooked that. When did I cook that? Not last. Oh, the night before. I cooked that the night before, and then my fiance was just like, "Wow, this was amazing." it made my cooking skills look like I was up there too. But I was inspired by what you guys did, and I brought that home and I cooked for everybody, and it made me feel good about cooking again. So.
Well, and
You got to try. You shared that magic with me, and I embodied it, and I put it
right.
into a dish, and it was
And when
spectacular.
we send out the meat boxes, that's what I want them to do with the meat that everybody just grows. Everything, you're talking Emily and Uric at Puna Chicks. They grow these chickens on pasture. They use the best grain. They rotate them around. These are the highest quality chickens, honestly. Like you can get anywhere in the world. They're grown on Big Island soil, just like my pigs, taking care of the weather. These are the
Not
best.
the Puna Chicks,
Bro, they're the best, bro.
Yeah, nice.
The name. And the same goes with the beef and we get venison from, we curate all that stuff. But then when it gets to the chef, then, you get a guy like Thomas, he's over there and he grills and I can see he really enjoys making these dishes and he's proud,
Oh, Thomas Keller.
No. He came. No, Thomas that works in the back, Tommy Bird,
So how was it serving Thomas Keller?
So, I mean, look, Thomas Keller is... So we've waited on some pretty famous people in the past. You know what I mean? And
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah. Oh, she can sing.
No, but you know what I was and this goes back to what you said earlier too, is when they asked for that, that they wanted a private dinner party. You had asked personally, and I heard this too through the grapevine. Everybody that had reservations, you explained to them what was going on personally. So
yeah,
I mean that just shows how passionate you are about food and your customer service.
Yeah. Well, she wanted to do it. It was a private party for 12 people, and it was dope. It was for her personal assistant, her right hand. And actually, I met her. This is how this all happened. So I'm working at the restaurant. I see this boy sending it down our hill and piles up. This boy piles up. I run over there. I'm helping him. I said, "Holy shit, kid!" And, he scuffed his knee, and he just got worked, and he's trying to shake it off. He's kind of crying, but he's trying to act. He's maybe 10. You know what I mean? Cute kid. And then the mom comes, and I'm helping him, and it's like, "Oh, I got a first aid kit. I'll be right back." I come back, and I'm bringing the first aid kit, and I'm doing it. I'm helping her, and I didn't even notice, and I look up. It's Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah,
and it was her son that piled up on the bike. And then their assistants come and everything, and I look at her, and I didn't even really know. Yeah. So then I was I looked at her, and she goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Jennifer." I said, "Oh, cool, what's up? I'm Brandon." You know what I mean? And we introduced, and we were talking stories, and then she's just and she came and ate lunch right after that, and she's just "This place is so cool," and she was talking about it, and I just was. She's like, "I want to do a private party here," and I go, "We're busy." You know what I mean? But this is early in our career, so we weren't busy now. Yeah. Okay, so she's like, "I want to have a private party." So I had about 20 reservations on the day she wanted to do it. So I had to call everybody. And one guy was like, they didn't give a fuck. Jennifer Hudson, I don't care. Brand, I always am eating at your restaurant. I said, "Come on, I'm a huge fan." That's what I told the guy. I remember telling him, "Bro, I'm a fan of Jennifer Hudson. It's really cool to have her here. It could help the restaurant." You know what I mean? Don't be upset. I knew the guests, I said, "I'll hook you up on the next one, guaranteed." So actually, I ended up running out to him some food and some bacon. I set him up and just that night. Nice. So, so we end up doing this party, and she asked for she wanted an acoustic R&B guy. And I'm like, these guys don't exist in Hawaii. You know what I mean? Acoustic R&B, what? And then, so Johnny, who was working at the restaurant at the time, he works at Four Seasons now, but now he's going to come back. Anyway, Johnny Holly is like, I got a friend. I was like, oh yeah? He sings R&B. I said, he sings like regular music, not regular, but like Hawaiian music now, like local music now, but he can sing R&B. I said, no way. He's like, yeah, his name is Vaughn Valentino.
Vaughn, dude, I hired him over here too. See, I try to do. I don't have the budget that like a lot of people have, but I always try to like try to take care of the local musicians and stuff too.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh,
Vaughn's
Hawaii, Big Island's got the best talent.
Yeah.
So Vaughn Valentino, so he comes out and he was singing Penthouse Floor. You know that song? Let's go, let's go, let's go. So then he up to the penthouse floor. So he was singing that song. Jennifer Hudson started singing the let's go, let's go. It's on his Instagram. They were singing together, that her backup singers were singing together, and they were all singing, oh, it's one of the moments like just etched in my brain, and Vaughn's there. So from that day forward, Vaughn's been playing with us.
Yeah.
And Vaughn, if you guys are looking for talent, Vaughn is the shit.
What's his Instagram?
I don't even know. What is it? Let's find out right now. Because he is the baddest there is.
I'll definitely post it in the caption.
Yeah. I mean, look, Oscar De La Hoya slipped him a G.
Yeah.
Slipped him a G, like tip in the jar.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, bro.
I thought I was a good tipper, man.
Oh, you can't. Look, everybody thinks they got something. These guys are on another level. Yeah. So he's gotten one season in a week doing all these private gigs down there. He made like 11 grand.
Good for him.
Yes, good bro. You gotta love that. This guy, he's singing Drake. He's singing Bieber. He's killing. If you got a party, anybody listening, you got a party and you want it to be, you want to take it another level, you hire Vaughn. You hire Vaughn because it takes it. He's so aware. He's so emotionally intelligent and paying attention to the crowd so well. He's knowing and he's guiding what songs he's about to play based on what's out there. He smashes. Vaughn Valentino. Oh, man. So he plays 2 nights a week now at the restaurant. But he, he's fucking the man.
Okay, so we've gone into it was a killer podcast, man, and thank you so much for coming and sharing your experiences and your passion for cooking amazing meals and for farming, man.
No, I don't cook. I serve amazing meals. Keone cooks. I'm one piece.
Well, you guys, I mean,
how long have we been wrapping out now? What time is it?
Almost 2 hours.
Holy shit.
Plus, we had about a half an hour going into it before my card started acting up, so we had to redo the whole podcast.
Just erase that beginning shit because I wasn't even in it yet. Yeah. Like, we were all trying to figure out what was going on.
Totally.
But yeah, hey, thanks for creating the platform.
No way. Thank you. All right, guys.
I don't even know what I said.
Hey, it was epic, and you can listen to it too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna close it off. Roundball Podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Aloha.